because it is a ns minus nr. The speed of stator field with respect to the revolving rotor structure is 60 rpm. The speed of the rotor field with 30th question. The speed of the rotor field with respect to the rotor structure. The speed of the rotor field with respect to rotor structure. So the speed of rotor field, the rotor field with respect to rotor structure is, again, that is a nr. So here is there is rotor field is, a rotor field will not be there. So then rotor field will be rotates with respect to rotor structure with a 0 rpm. The speed of the rotor with respect to the stator structure is the speed of rotor with respect to stator structure. So it is nr, that is nr equal to 1440 rpm. The speed of the rotor field with respect to stator field is, so with respect to stator field, so here see that the speed of rotor field, when the speed of rotor field says that with respect to stator structure or rotor structure is 0. And now coming to 33 question, when the supply to a induction motor is switched on in the beginning, the induced EMF in the rotor will be, when the supply to an induction motor is switched on in the beginning, the induced EMF in the rotor will be, it is at beginning there is a 0 EMF, but when machine is yet to start, means at standstill condition, the EMF is more, and when it is runs slightly greater values, then EMFs are low. At beginning the EMF is maximum because E2 equal to E2 only, because S equal to 1, and when the running, the EMF is, rotor EMF is equal to slip times of rotor EMF. So the EMF in a rotor bars at beginning is maximum, and running it is a reduced. If an induction motor hums during starting up, the probably caused because humming because of equal, okay, option A unequal phase resistance, option B open circuit, C interturn short circuit on rotor. So option D any of the above. So it may be open circuited, then also humming noise comes, unequal phase resistance, then also an interturn short circuited on the motor. So this 3 is correct. So any of the above, in that condition the rotor will be the machine will be If an induction motor is to be run on an unbalanced supply, then it should be, so whenever the machine is running under unbalanced supply, then it should be A run at higher speeds, B run at lower speeds, C run at lower loads, and D run at higher loads. So unbalanced supply, then the machine will be runs at a lower load. Thirty-sixth question. The rotor of an induction motor runs in the same direction as the rotating stator magnetic flux. This is in accordance with the Newton's law. Option A is so the question is the rotor of induction motor is running in the direction of the rotating magnetic field. So why it has to be runs in the same direction of rotating magnetic field? So that can be said by the option A Newton's law, option B Lenz's law, option C Fleming's left hand rule, and D Faraday's law. So the Lenz law is the correct because of it opposes the cause. So rotor rotates in the direction of magnetic flux. And 36, if the full load speed of a 4-pole 50 Hz squirrel cage induction motor is 1440 rpm, its speed at half full load will be. So when machine is running with the full load 1440 rpm, if speed is if load is reduced, then speed will be increases, because in induction machine the speeds are proportional to load. When loads are decreased to off, then load speeds also decreased to not off level, but it reduced to some level. It reduced to, sorry, it inverse relation, so it increases. It increases, not a proportional values. So kindly correct that. So the loads are increasing means speeds are decreasing. Loads are decreasing means speeds are increasing. So it decreases. Actually, the machine at full load 1440 rpm, the load is reduced to off. Then speeds are increases, slightly increases. So the slightly increased value here is option A 1440 rpm, it's wrong, and B is a 1410 rpm, it decreases, so it is wrong. And option D is a 1440 rpm, it's also wrong. And option D is a 1450 rpm, so it may be a correct because of higher speeds as compared to full load speed 1440 rpm. So so question number 38. In a question number 38, if all the stator coils of an induction motor are connected for the same magnetic polarity, there will be formed an equal number of. So if all stator coils of an induction motor are connected for the same magnetic polarity, that means magnetic polarities means all cross or all dot conductors, there will be a formed an equal number of. So option A rotor poles with same polarity, option B rotor poles with opposite polarity, option C consequent pole with opposite polarity, and option D consequent poles with same polarity. So whenever conductors are same with the same polarity, so then option C is the consequent poles with the consequent means there is a different poles with the opposite polarities. So it's clear that 39th question, a three-phase four-pole squirrel cage induction motor has a 36 slots, 36 starter slots and 28 rotor slots. The number of phases in rotor is, so to find the number of phases in rotor, that equal to rotor slots by rotor poles. So 28 by 4, so that is 7. So option C is correct. Option C is correct. And the question number 40. The direction of rotation of a three-phase induction motor is clockwise when it is supplied with a three-phase sinusoidal voltage having a phase sequence ABC. For counterclockwise rotation of the motor, the phase sequence of the power supply should be. So see that option A is a BCA and C is a CAB and option C is a ACB and D is BCA and CAB. So see here option A. So firstly, initially the machine is connected in ABC phase sequence. So option A says that BCA, the BCA and ABC is the same because if we start reading from the in option A, BCA is there now in that start reading from A, again there is a B, again C. So the phase sequence of initial phase sequence is ABC and option A also ABC. So there is no change of speed rotation because in a ABC phase sequence just interchange either AB, sorry, either AB or BC or AC. Either only interchange the two phase sequences, two phases, but not three phases. So see here in A, option A, the B and C and A three are interchanged, and the option B says that in option B, CAB is the position. So in the CAB, we can read that from start reading from A, B, C. So option C also a, option B also a wrong. But see in the C option, so initial is the ABC. So now option C see that. So A is at A place, but in place of B there is a C, and in place of C there is a B. So it is correct that at least one of the phase, the either A or B or C, that must be at the same place. That must be at the same place, and interchange the remaining two. So in a ABC, at least one phase, either A or B or C, at least one phase must be at same place. Must be at the same place. So option C is correct. So now coming to the 41st question. So 10. The effect of increasing the air gap length in a three-phase induction motor is to reduce the pulsation losses, improve the power factor, reduce the air gap flux, and improve the power factor. That means reduce the power factor, reduce the torque, increase the efficiency. From this, the correct statement is so correct. We need a correct statement. So in that correct statement, if air gap length increases, option A 1 reduce the pulsation losses. So option 1 is correct. And option 2 improve the power factor. If air gap length is increasing, the power factor will be decreases because if air gap length is increasing, then magnetizing current value will be increases. Magnetizing current values will be increases and power factor values are decreases. So power factor values are decreases. Reduce the air gap flux. So increasing in air gap length reduce the air gap flux means the air gap flux will be when increasing in the air gap length there is an increasing in the reluctance, and increasing in the reluctance means the flux also reduced, the flux also reduced, and worse the power factor. So that fourth one is correct because the power factor will be decreases, reducing, reduced the torque, reduced the torque, reduce the torque, and increase the efficiency means it will not increase the efficiency because of power factor is reduction and currents are increasing, so the power efficiency will not be increases. And reduce the torque means the torque will not reduce because the torque will be increases because magnetizing current is increasing. Reduction in torque. Reduction in torque. అండి చెప్పండి. క్లాస్లో ఉన్నానండి, క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను, కొంచెం సేపు కొంచెం అంటే కొంచెం ఆయన తర్వాత మాట్లాడు, క్లాస్లో ఉన్నా, క్లాస్ చెప్తున్నాను, చెప్పండి. క్లాస్ 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 చెప్తున్నాను, తర్వాత మళ్ళీ రికార్డ్ పని ఏమన్నా ఉందా? రెండు రోజులే. అవును ఇస్తాను, రేపు నేను అంకుల్తో మాట్లాడతాను వచ్చి నేను. So the rotor of the rotor of a 4-pole 3-phase squirrel cage induction motor is replaced by 3-phase 4-pole wound rotor. When fed with normal supply, the machine will be runs at slightly lower than normal speed. Run at slightly lower than normal speed. The rotor of 3-phase 4-pole squirrel cage induction machine motor is replaced with a 3-phase 4-pole machine. So, concept of slip. In practice, the rotor never succeed in catching up of the stator field. If it really did so, then there would be a not relative speed between the two rotor conductors and the stator field. no rotor EMF, no rotor current, and so no torque to maintain the rotational. That is why the rotor runs at a speed which is always less than speed of the stator field. The difference in speeds depends upon the load on the motor. The difference between the synchronous speed ns and the actual rotor speed ns is also known as slip. So it may be expressed in a so many revolution per second. Yet it is usually to express it as a percentage of synchronous speed. A actual the term slip is descriptive of the way in which the rotor slips back from synchronism. So slip percentage of slip is equal to ns minus nr by ns, and sometimes ns minus nr is also called a slip speed. So nr equal to the rotor speed nr equal to ns 1 minus s 1 minus s. Slip s equal to ns minus nr by ns into 100. So ninth question, a 60 hertz induction motor has a 2 poles and runs at 3510 rpm. Calculate the synchronous speed and the percentage slip. So ns equal to 120 f by p, 120 into 60 by 2, that equal to 3600 rpm. S equal to ns minus nr by ns. So ns is the 3600 rpm and nr is the 3510, that is 36100. Then that is the value is 0.025, that is 2.5% of slip. A 3-phase induction motor is wound for a 4 poles and is supplied for a 50 Hz system. Calculate the synchronous speed and rotor speed when slip is 4% and rotor frequency when rotor runs at 600 rpm. ns equal to 120 f by p. So we can say that 4-pole machine 50 Hz induction, 4-pole and 50 Hz system, then ns value is 1500 rpm and nr equal to ns into 1 minus s, that equal to 1500 into 1 into 1 0.04, that 1440 rpm, and the rotor frequency fr equal to slip times of stator frequency. That slip we have, that is 4%, that 4 into 4% into, that means 0.04 into 50, that we can say the 30 Hz. A properly center zero galvanometer is connected in a rotor circuit of a 6-pole 50 Hz wound rotor induction motor. If the galvanometer makes a 90 complete oscillation in 1 minute, calculate the rotor speed. Solution: 1 complete oscillation of galvanometer corresponding to 1 cycle of rotor frequency. Therefore, rotor frequency F2 equal to SF. The frequency number of oscillation per minute by 60, that is 90 by 60, 1.5 Hz. Slip S equal to F2 by F, that equal to 1.5 by 950, that is 0.03. Rotor speed nr equal to ns into 1 minus s. Rotor speed nr equal to ns into 1 minus s. Number of frequency is the F2 is number of oscillation per minute, 90 by 60. So it is clear that rotor speed is 970 rpm. The stator of a three-phase induction motor has a 3 slots per pole per phase. If supply frequency is 50 Hz, number of stator poles produced and the total number of slots on the motor. Speed of the rotating stator flux or magnetic field. P equal to 2N into, so here the stator of a three-phase induction motor has a 3 slots, just 3 slots per pole per phase. Per pole per phase. If supply frequency is 50 Hz, calculate A. Number of stator poles produced and total number of slots on the motor. Number of stator poles produced and total number of stator. So the number of poles equal to 2 into N. N is the slots. The number of slots are 3. So then number of poles equal to 6 poles. Total number of slots equal to 3 into slots per pole per phase. Pole per phase. So 3. So here 6 into 3 slots per pole per phase. 18 into 3, 3 into 6 into 3. So that is a 54 value. And speed of the rotating stator flux. So NS equal to 1000 because of 6 poles. So now working principle of squirrel cage induction machine. In that working principle of squirrel cage induction machine, there is a summary, the completed of a working principle of squirrel cage induction machine. But in the summary, we can discuss the important point here in a squirrel cage induction machine working principle. When the three-phase stator windings are fed by the three-phase supply, so in a three-phase induction machine supplied by the three-phase supply, then a rotating magnetic flux of a constant magnitude is produced. The rotating magnetic flux of constant magnitude is produced. The flux passes through the air gap, swipes past the rotor surface, and so cuts the rotor conductors, which are at are stationary conditions. So the flux passes through the air gap and sweeps that means cuts the rotor surface and cuts the rotor conductors, so which is already at a stationary conditions. So whenever it cuts, then there is a EMF induced in the rotor bars. So at second point, see that the second point explanation. So the flux is passing through the air and cuts the rotor surface and rotor conductors. So when flux cutting to the rotor conductors, then the EMF induced in the rotor conductors. EMF induced in the rotor conductor, and the rotor bars are short circuited by the end rings. Then current also produced. Number 3, third, due to the relative speed between the rotating flux and the stationary conductors, an EMF is induced in the latter, according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Due to the relative speeds between the rotating flux and stationary conductors. An EMF is induced in the latter according to Faraday's law. So, rotating flux cuts the stationary conductor, then EMF induced in the conductors, and EMF induced, so the currents also flows in the conductor because the conductors are short circuited by the rings. Then according to Faraday's law, there is a induction will be starts because of Faraday's law says that whenever current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field, it experiences a force. The frequency of the induced EMF is the same the supply frequency. The frequency of the induced EMF is the same as the supply frequency. Same the supply frequency. So, because and fourth point say that the frequency of induced EMF, the frequency of induced EMF at standstill condition in a rotor is equal to supply frequency, but it similarly the induced EMF in a induction machine rotor is at starting is higher because of E2 equal to E2 only. At running E2 equal to SE2, and rotor frequencies are rotor frequency equal to slip times of the stator frequency. Its magnitude is proportional to the relative velocity between the flux and conductors, and its direction is given by the Fleming's right hand rule. Since the rotor bars are conductors from a closed circuit, the rotor current is produced whose direction is given by the Lenz's law is such as to oppose the very cause producing it. In this case, the cause which produces the rotor current is the relative velocity between the rotating flux and the stator flux and rotor conductors. Hence, to reduce the relative speed, the rotor starts running in the same direction as that of a flux and tries to catch up the rotating flux. So, in practice, the rotor never succeeds to catch the stator field. That means rotor NR will not catches the NS. The rotor runs at speeds which is always less than the speeds of the stator field. That is, NR is always runs less speed than NS. The difference in speeds depends upon the load on the motor. That is called load angle. That NS is always constant, but NR depends upon the load. If load is increasing, the speeds are decreases. If load is decreasing, speeds are increases. So load and speeds are inverse relations. So slip descriptive of the way in which the rotor slips back from the synchronism. Slip S equal to Ns minus Nr by Ns into 100. The 13th question, the slip of a three-phase induction motor can be measured by actual measuring the rotor speed, stroboscopic method, comparing the rotor and stator supply frequency, connecting a central zero galvanometer and the rotor circuit. So this all are the correct actual measuring the rotor speed or stroboscopic method and comparing rotor and stator supply frequency and connecting the center galvanometer so that we get a frequency rotor frequency and from that we get a slip equal to Fr by F. It is rotor frequency by the stator frequency. The speed of the stator field with respect to, so it is very important, the speed of stator field with respect to stator structure Ns. With respect to rotor structure is Ns minus Nr, that is Ns. With respect to rotor structure is rotor field is 0. So remember that if the rotor field is 0, so the speed of the stator field with respect to rotor field is 0. The thought is very important. The stator field with respect to rotor field is a 0. So now coming to 14th question. The speed of the rotor field with respect to stator structure is ns. Stator structure is ns. Rotor structure is ns minus nr. And the speed of the rotor field with respect to stator field is 0. Stator field with respect to rotor field is 0. Rotor field with respect to stator field is 0. So in a three-phase slip ring induction machine, 15th question, in a three-phase slip ring induction motor, if three-phase balanced supply is given to the rotor and the stator windings are short circuited, the rotor would run against the direction of the rotating magnetic field. In a three-phase slip ring induction motor, if a three-phase balanced supply is given to the rotor and the rotor stator winding are short circuited, the rotor would run against the direction of the rotating magnetic field. So the absolute speed of the magnetic field in space of a three-phase rotor field induction motor is ns minus nr. The rotor of a three-phase squirrel cage induction machine is fed from three phases of balanced supply with its stator winding short circuited. If ns is the synchronous speed, nr is the rotor speed, f is the supply frequency, and s is the slip. Then frequency of stator current is sf. Speed of the rotor field with respect to rotor is ns plus nr. Speed of the area field with respect to stator is ns minus nr. If the excitation is given to the stator rotor windings, stator so objective, an induction motor is self starting with a zero torque. So finally the C is answer, self starting with a small torque as compared to the rated torque. So induction machine has a self starting but smaller torque as compared to the rated torque. The starting torque is smaller as compared to rated torque. A 6-pole 50 Hz induction machine, wound rotor, that means slip ring induction machine, is driven by another machine at 1800 rpm. The rotor of the induction is connected to a 50 Hz system. If the mechanically rotation of the rotor is in the same direction as the rotor winding flux rotation, then the frequency of the stator voltage will be. So see here in the hint also he has given the rotor, wound rotor to the stator is 1800 rpm and speed of the rotor field with respect to the rotor is 1000 rpm. Okay, because it is a ns 6000 6-pole 50 Hz induction machine. So the speed of the rotor field with respect to stator is 2800 rpm. So that is ns plus nr. So frequency of the stator is 2800 into 6 by 120. That means 14 140 H. A three-phase squirrel cage induction machine is fed from the rotor side with the stator winding short circuited. The frequency of the current flowing in the short circuit stator is a three-phase squirrel cage induction machine is fed from the rotor side. So the rotor side supply is given. Stator winding short circuited. The frequency of the current flowing in the short circuited stator current is slip frequency. So when supply is given from the rotor side, so the rotor frequency is that is normal frequency, that is supply frequency f, but the stator frequency is the slip times of the supply frequency, sf, the slip frequency, you can say that slip frequency. Slip frequency. A three-phase squirrel cage induction machine is running at slips s with synchronous speed ns clockwise and rotor speed nr. If it is are two supply leads are interchanged, then at that instant a squirrel cage induction machine running at slip s with synchronous speed ns clockwise and rotor speed nr. If two supply leads are interchanged, then that the machine will be runs in a reverse direction. So when the machine is running in the reverse direction, then there is a backward slip is acting on that. The backward slip formula, slip is equal to 2 minus s. The backward slip equal to 2 minus s means that is a forward slip. And the condition 2, the speed of the area field with respect to the stator structure is ns plus nr clockwise. That means when the rotor is running in the reverse direction, then the ns plus nr, it is not a ns minus nr, it is a ns plus nr. The speeds of the area field with respect to the rotor is anti-clockwise direction. And fourth point, speed of the area field with respect to stator is anti-clockwise. So these all are the correct and important. Effective rotor resistance increases, stator current decreases. From this, correct answer is